do this webinar for you. As you know, we've been doing these webinars now for a couple of weeks. So we're really interested in just making sure that you guys have as much support as possible. Obviously, this is a really interesting time that we're in. So we want to make sure that you and your loved ones, first and foremost, are safe, and that after this webinar, you will be fully informed on how best to market your online classes. As you know, that's something that's super popular at the moment. Yeah, we want to just make sure that you guys are still maintaining that kind of life, that business continuity, that you're getting value out of what you're providing your clients. So with that, I'll pass it over to Caroline, who will run through our agenda for our webinar today.
Thank you, Niamh, and hello everyone who's joined us today. Thank you so much for joining, and we hope that you find this really useful. Just to give you an overview of what the agenda is looking like today. So we're going to be looking at how you can create value with your online workouts. We'll be then going on to how you can package your online workouts to sell them and sell them well. Then we'll go on to how you can sell your memberships again, and going on from this then how you can promote your online workouts to generate revenue today and in the now. We'll also look at this new feature that everyone will have access to now. Before, it was just a platinum feature. So now that everyone's been upgraded, we'll look at how you can use your members store to generate additional revenue today. And then we'll go on to how you can use your online workouts and this setup to drive your new leads in the future. And then finally, we'll close with a question and answer section where you can ask as many questions as you want. And throughout this webinar as well, if you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the questions and answers box that's there at the bottom of your screen. And that way then, if we don't get around to answering your question right now, we can revisit it and follow up with an email at a later time. So then going on from that, so as I mentioned, we're looking at how you can create value with your online workouts. So we're looking at basically giving your members more than a workout. And from speaking to a lot of our customers over the past week or two, one of the main things that we discovered was like, your members are with you for a number of reasons, and generally the workout is the last thing that they're there thinking of. So there's so many other reasons why your members are coming to you. This could be for the community aspect, this idea of the social setting and well-being. They're using your studio or your gym for more than just fitness. So it's important to show them value in a number of different ways. So we had a great example from Mike, who is in Pilates in Motion in the UK. And so he was showing his members value there by helping them with the setup. So setting up this new online class setup that they might have to, use an iPad or use a screen and set up their mats on the ground. So by giving handy tips and tricks on how you can get a really nice home setup. Along with that, he also ensured that all of his members knew how to use Zoom correctly. So by providing them with a PDF or a document showing exactly the steps they'd need to take to download Zoom, to get set up and to book into his classes. So this is a really great way of showing how you can give your members more value there as well. Also, you know your members better than anyone else, and you know that they're coming to you for specific reasons, whether that's for weight loss, if it's for, a headspace kind of thing, for nutrition. So continue to support your members with what you know that they need. So this could be with goal setting, if that's one of the things in your repertoire. It could be with life coaching. Lots of our customers now are providing nutritional services to their members as well, in a way to bulk up their offering and to give even more value to their customers at this time. Don't forget about the importance of one-to-ones. And again, some more of our members were speaking about how they offer one-to-ones, but generally in a physical studio where they're offering one-to-ones, the people who do come in for these sessions are working long days, so they're only available at certain times. But now with all of us working from home in this sort of crazy setup that we're all finding ourselves in, people have a different routine and different available times. You're no longer commuting to your workplace, so people have a bit of a freer calendar and times to work with here, so there may be the opportunity to support your members with one-to-ones. And then I know we've been hammering this home. We focused on it last week. We seem to hammer on about it all of the time, but this idea of community. So group chats and catch-ups are so important, whether that's 5 minutes before a class starts or 10 minutes afterwards. Don't underestimate the value of this. And overall, so when you're creating these value with your online workouts, just be customer or member centric, know your selling point and why they're coming to you, and then recreate that for your members through your online workouts as best as you can.
Sorry about that. I was trying to, I think, wasn't able to get to the unmute part.
Dramatic
Yeah,
pause.
really important points there, Caroline. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, I guess the main thing I guess that we are trying to put across here is we still, obviously it's so important that you still have that revenue stream coming in, and what we would wholeheartedly recommend is that you're still keeping your current memberships, that you're still keeping them active, you're still charging for those subscriptions, and that is really a top priority that we recommend all studios to do at the moment. Again, what you're, just what you as a business are doing, and what you've always wanted to do and set out to achieve, that hasn't changed just because the current climate has. That ethos is still very much, prominent, or at least, should be still prominent in your business model, even though your business model probably has slightly changed now and shifted towards a more online approach. So while you have now kind of started increasing your value in different ways by having, like as Caroline said, more one-to-ones, more classes available, being creative with how you're now kind of approaching your business model, that doesn't mean that that your value has changed or has reduced at all, because if anything, you're kind of putting more effort or more kind of work into what you are conducting. So don't forget that. And I think what we're hearing from a lot of members is some of them are very conscious and probably a little bit nervous to start charging again for members. And I can see my internet might be a little bit unstable, so if it is, I beg your pardon. Hopefully it's clear enough. But if so some of our members are a little bit concerned to continue charging for their memberships, and I totally understand why. You are maybe if you haven't ever done or conducted online classes before, this may be an unknown area for you, but it's still really important to put that across your members, that you're still providing a service, you're still making sure that you're attentive to their needs as well. So why shouldn't why shouldn't the billing and the subscriptions continue? Should it be the case, obviously we are very respectful, and as are many studios as well, that some people may be in a lot more of financial kind of like a difficulty at the moment, and you want to be mindful of that as well. So if it is the case that you are dropping down the prices for your memberships, try and not reduce them anymore from, like, try and keep it at 80% of the original price, but definitely not anything less than 50%, because that won't sustain you going forward. It's not possible to maintain at that amount. So bear that in mind. Start getting creative for more people than ever have so much more time. For anybody who's still working, let's say from home, that are working professionals, have more money than ever. So you want to make sure that you're still reaching those kind of new target audiences, and that can be through, like, let's say family classes. You have families that are now underneath the one roof for the entire day, which you might have been only a couple of hours. So run a few family classes, increase your class, your general classes. Let's say if you've always wanted to start running more mobility classes or whatever that may be, to start doing that right now. If it's the case that you do have other people who, let's say, if you want to start introducing tiered packages, so that would be having one membership just attending maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Another membership might be a little bit more I guess full of like different services that you provide, like let's say one-to-one sessions or nutritional advice, like Caroline already mentioned, or like life coaching sessions, if that's something that you do. Have those different tiered memberships, so again you are having the ability to bring in revenue and more increased revenue with the more increased services that you are providing. So what we're really just again trying to drive home is the fact that you have you are bringing such value to the community in what you're offering. So just to make sure that you don't forget about that, and that it's okay to charge for that as well. Cool, great. So yeah, the next part I will leave that over to you again, Caroline, and that's just about looking into kind of how to make sure that you are, or how to make sure that you're able to sell your memberships the best way possible.
Exactly. And I might just chime in there, Neve, as well with an anecdote from one of our customers during the week. So
Great.
Hot Lotus Yoga in the UK, I was speaking to them about, this, it's quite a sensitive topic, I guess, with a lot of people lucky enough to be continuing in their workplace, but some people obviously maybe taking a bit of a hit with everything that's going on at the moment. So how can you cater to those members along with the members who are happy to continue paying as they were before? Well, she came up with a really great idea. This is Heidi in Hot Lotus Yoga, who mentioned having a sort of donation. So this is your like pay what you want sort of approach. So by creating different memberships with a £10 a month, a £15 a month, a £20 a month, and a £25 per month option. This way it was enabling everyone to pay what they could afford at that time and sustain this for as long as they need to, up until the point then when they're ready to get back onto their regular membership. So I thought this was a really great way of, catering to your audience and catering to your members and ensuring that, you're keeping your customer sentiment high at the same time. So then when it does go on to selling memberships again, so in our previous webinars, we looked at how you can retain members. Then we were looking at getting your online classes set up. And I know that could be a bit of a stumbling block for a lot of people at the start. But now that we're all set up and running, it's time to start thinking about how we can sell these memberships. So it's important to note when you think about it that people actually have more time and more money than ever. So you're not spending money on your commute, you're not getting that coffee on your way to work. There's more disposable money there for all of us to spend. And at the same time, ironically, we're all a lot less active than ever. So I know myself, with working from home, it's difficult to maintain that balance with how much physical activity that you're doing every day. So rather than seeing this as a challenge, maybe see it as an opportunity and think about how you can, really put messages out there that are going to resonate with your audience and are going to get them back in your door, well, in your virtual doors, and get them set up with memberships. So maybe with this loyal customer base that you already cultivated, think about how you can turn your members into advocates and use referral programs to get more people in your doors. So by incentivizing your members with class credits or memberships to refer other members and get them into your studio. Facebook advertising as well. So Facebook is obviously absolutely flooded with content at the moment that is all free. Every second person seems to be doing a free workout or something like that and posting it online that anyone can follow. Whereas this can be good to advertise, it's important to note that you don't want to devalue your offering either. You don't want to be putting it out there for free for anyone to get access to. So a way of still using Facebook or Instagram as the platform to put your message out there, but don't give too much away. So now's a great time to really put those paid ads on Facebook, as they're currently 50% cheaper in some areas that they would have been before. And also, you've done so much hard work leading up to this point. So when you were in your physical studio, sending out or getting leads in your door and building up your email contact list, it's really important to work these lists now and to use all of those emails in your Glofox dashboard and start sending out email nurture campaigns and get them to come back to your studio maybe as a trial, or give them an online class or two and get them interested in you again. So it's also just important to note that leads are cheaper but harder to close. So all it takes is a bit of work. So do keep sending those emails, trying to stay top of mind, and word of mouth is a really great way to do so. So if you're thinking about how you can do this, a referral program is a really great way to do so.
Great, thank you so much, Caroline. So I see we do have a question that's just come in from Mary, so we will address that at the end in the Q&A, if that's okay, Mary. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Caroline. So obviously, like this slide, definitely it can shake you a little bit, and that's simply just the fact that the coronavirus will impact your business for 12 months. So obviously, it's a tough thing to read, it's a tough thing to say as well. And the reason why we do say that is because at the moment we have had to, and studios and all businesses and everyone really has had to adapt to this change. And it's something that, we are creatures of habit. So sometimes adaptation isn't our strongest, quality, but it is something that, that you have to be able to do to have that agility within you. So, many studios have started to do that, and even you see it that with all the live and the free programs or the free classes that are going. So that we are showing that as possible, but it's really, really important to note that this is going to have a major impact on how businesses are run, and how the industry is shaped. And that's not just right now, it's going to be for the next couple of months. And likely from what we've heard from customers is that it's going to have a major impact on the industry just overall and for the lifetime, really. So it's really important to adapt into that and to so we're a bit hard to hear. So maybe it could just be myself that is difficult to hear. So thanks, Lorraine, for voicing that. What I might do is actually just turn off my video, and maybe that will speed up the connection a little bit. But please let me know if it's the case that the connection does drop again. But as I was saying, this pandemic has and will shape the way that the business is run. Or businesses are run. So it's really important to plan. So that would be through all of the advice that we are giving beforehand, and all of the advice that we are giving, and all of the webinar content that we are giving as well. Make sure to really kind of tune into all of those, because they are there to support you, and it's to really create a decent and concrete plan that will, bring you out stronger at the end of this. And that's all to facilitate your growth, and to whether it's possible to kind of continue your growth during this period. Some businesses are nearly almost busier than they were before, and it's again to make sure that you have it in mind that that you want to continue to grow after this as well. So how can you do that? Again, as we touched on this before, it's to kind of give, taster classes. So while everybody is giving free classes at the moment, why not just give, little bits of snippets of information to kind of show what your online workouts or what your online kind of maybe nutritional advice, or your nutritional consultations look like, so that clients or leads know what to expect if they are going to sign up and, pay for a subscription with you. Because sometimes, this is maybe the first time that people are doing online and home workouts, and they've never done it before, so they don't know how worthwhile it's going to be. So by you giving those tasters, it will definitely ease their concerns. As Caroline mentioned before, and invest in Facebook ads to target new leads. Again, there's plenty of content about how to set up, strong and effective Facebook advertisements. So do look into that and try and modify them as best as you can for the current situation. So maybe instead of showing images of your studio, or like in studio workouts, maybe change your stock images to, let's say, at home workouts, or even videos of at home workouts as well, or even pre-recorded workouts. Use Glofox. Everybody, as we have said, or as Caroline has indicated, that we have now released platinum features for everybody, so you're able to use the news section, and that gives you the ability to kind of share live or pre-recorded content. If it's the case you are pre-recording your if you are pre-recording your videos, you can use Animoto or Canva, and they are kind of, I guess, video editing support tools. So again, we're not people may never have like recorded a video before, so you might not be used to that, and I think it's totally okay if you haven't been. So try and look up as much of or resource as much as possible how you can create effective recorded videos. So what we would like to kind of also flag with you guys is the fact that we will have the ability to restrict news articles to active paying members. So that will help you guys share content to people who are on subscriptions, and almost entice and encourage and promote with leads that, oh, well, like if you sign up to this subscription, then you will get this these like kind of exclusive content for members only. So that's something to kind of, I guess, bear in mind, that we are also kind of trying to do our best to adapt and create a product for the current climate as well, so that is supporting you. other ways, if it's the case that you are a business that is within its infancy, or if you're already a well-established business, why not think about, reaching out to new nutritionists, or other people in the fitness industry, for example, or local businesses, just to promote your online workouts. It's really, really important to kind of, again, group as a community. We are all in this together, so why not use that to your advantage and try and get your name out there to entice new leads as well. Some of the things that we recommend to not do is, don't forget your value. We've touched on that plenty of times already into this webinar, that it's really important that you guys remember and realize, the benefits and what you are providing your members. So don't forget that. And it's really important as well to not follow the trend, to try and do something different to distinguish yourself from these free online workouts, so that you can, I guess, encourage your members to make sure that they have a reason to sign up to you guys.
Yeah, some really valid points there, Neve, and that does kind of lead us on to the next slide here about the online store. So I might just move us, our little box, over to this side. As we've touched on, so you'll get access to all of these new features with this platinum upgrade. So we'd really recommend leveraging your online store here, and I guess really being creative and thinking of ways that you can provide your studio and yourselves with an additional and alternative revenue stream. So you're all fitness professionals, and it's really important that you use your skill set and everything in your repertoire. And it's easy to think of how you can deliver value to your members if you just boil it back down to why they're coming to you. So if it is a thing that you have a nutrition qualification in your skill set, now could be a really great time to put that up on the member store. So some examples of ideas of things that you could put on the member store are things like gift cards. So you could have a gift card for a certain value of money on your store, and incentivize people to buy these maybe as gifts for charity raffles or anything like that. There's also the opportunity here to be extra creative and think of how you could bundle a few of your offerings together and create this like a COVID survival bundle, or maybe a work from home bundle. So as we said, we're all a bit more sedentary now that we're not on our commutes anymore and that we're not out in our workplace. So maybe think of how you can repackage a couple of your offerings together, whether that be nutrition with some equipment or props, along with access to premium videos, which will help them to carry on their fitness journeys. Also some really great examples we saw during the week of what customers are doing at the moment. So writing and selling cookbooks, again, using skills within their repertoire and monetizing them. Also, we're obviously like in springtime, and I know we're all on lockdown and working from home, but that doesn't mean that summer is miles away. It's still something that's in people's minds, the ideas of the summer shred and things like that. Be creative and think of ideas with courses and competitions and challenges that you can deliver in May, June, and July, and put those up on your member store. And even it could be a great time to create that sense of urgency as well, and have a limited number of spaces and really commit to this group, whether it's a group of 8 people that are going to do regular check-ins, setting goals, doing mindset activities and things like that. And these can all provide an additional revenue stream for you. So I know I've harped on about it as well, about the importance of being creative. So you can be creative to keep money coming into your business. There's anything tangible or intangible you can add into your store once it has value for your members. And like I said, if you know your members well enough, you'll know what items there will sell. So it's so simple. All you need is a picture and to get some text, and then you're set up. And I know Neve is going to guide you through that now on the Glofox dashboard.
Great. Thank you so much, Caroline. Yeah, it was super interesting. So I'm just going to go and share my screen now. So you should be able to now share my screen, and hopefully you can hear me okay as well. So yeah, as you can see now, everybody should see that there is an additional tab called the store. So this is where you can go and create your store features. So as you can already see, these are a few of the examples that we have created already, like your cookbook, your nutrition pack, and so on. So again, super simple to actually get set up. If you select add, you'll now see that you have the option to go and create your your product name. So let's say, for example, you want to go and sell bands. So this would be for like at-home workouts. You can go and give a brief description there, whatever it may be, add your image. And if it's the case that you don't want it to be, shown on the member app just yet, you can toggle that on as private, and that will be hidden from the public. If it's the case that you, let's say, anybody who already has the store and they may have, let's say, t-shirts, and that might be the first thing that you see whenever you log on, or you go to the store on the member app, but you want to now focus a little bit more on more kind of like, let's say, COVID survival resources, then if you toggle on the featured option here, that will make sure that it's one of the first products seen in the store. So you definitely want to do that, particularly now. It's just, as we said, it's just important, just anything that you can potentially sell that you feel will be of value to your members, absolutely put it on the store and try and get members to see it straight away by toggling on the featured key, so that they are encouraged a little bit more to purchase something. I'm just going to select advanced because this will be important when we move to the variants tab. And even just a tip that I would always recommend, if you do see the advanced key in any settings, just to toggle it on, as it will show you more options that are available. So as you can see, if you've got bands, let's say you can go on and add them in different color. If it's the case that they are different, like a small, medium, or large, you can do that by pressing on the plus key. You can go and add different features or different sizes of them, and so on. So it's really, really simple to get set up. You can change the price, you can add your stock quantity. We would recommend maybe to try and encourage members and again, it's like a simple sales tactic, and just because we are all in lockdown, simple sale skills don't go out the window. It's still really important to create that sense of urgency. So by not showing 100 bands, that means that that members will be able to see that there is a demand for them, so that they would want to buy them a little bit more. So that's how you can create a product. So as you can see, it's really, really simple. Where you can actually go once some people actually go and purchase the products, you can go to the store item here on the home page, and here you can see everybody who has purchased an item. Now, generally, if it was if all the studios were open, it is like a in-studio collection service, so they would need to go to the studio to collect their product. So if it is something that you can't send over email, so let's say like a PDF, your cookbooks, we'd recommend making sure that all of your cookbooks are in a PDF format so that you can email them. Otherwise, you will have to send them out or post them out yourselves. Once you have gone and done that, then you can just mark as collected, and that's almost like a checklist that knows that, okay, this person has purchased this product and it is now kind of sent out to them, or I have posted out to them. If you want to then go and check on actual revenue generated by all of that, then you can go to the product section here, and you can see in your report, in your revenue report field, everybody who has purchased a product. So again, this is a test account at the moment, which is why you don't see any kind of figures there. But if clients are purchasing products from your store, then the revenue will appear in that section. So yeah, I hope that was a clear enough demonstration of how that store works. We do have support articles on that, so hopefully you will find that you can always research them. But of course, if you would like a more in-depth one, don't hesitate to contact the customer success team, or even the support at glofox.com, and they'll be able to guide you. I think you're just on mute there, Caroline.
Apologies. Sorry about that. Yeah, some really good points there, Niamh.
Excellent. So we're just going to continue now to have a look at basically what the future looks like with online workouts in the picture. Obviously, we don't want to, dwell too much into the future, as everybody at the moment just very much taking it day by day, kind of week by week. But what we're really kind of trying to put across here is that, online classes are here to stay, and that the future is going to be somewhat of a hybrid of online and in studio classes. And this is something to be really, really excited about, everybody, because it's obviously it's tough at the moment. We don't know what's going to happen, and everybody is kind of concerned and anxious, but this is something to get excited about from a business perspective, because it does open up an awful lot of opportunities for you and your studio. you can now use online workouts and to kind of master that as almost like a lead capture in itself. So that's by, giving snippets of workouts to try and encourage people to try this home workout. And if you're interested, why not call in the store? And the way to do that is to, as I said before, if you are using Facebook ads, start changing your ads from images to videos. So instead of showing a video of your studio, show a video of doing a home workout and what that kind of can look like. If it's the case that you have people who are kind of online workout or at home workout kind of advocates, definitely get some of your loyal members and get them to kind of vouch for you and share their success stories. So that could be people from, let's say, families using online workouts to try and entertain their kids during the holidays. It could be a working professional who, let's say, would travel quite a bit, or doesn't have to commute anymore, or they can now slot in one-to-one sessions whenever it suits their schedule. Or even like anybody really who wouldn't fit into the normal kind of stereotype of going to the gym. This is now the opportunity to try and get to speak to them and get them to share their experience of how online classes really helped them. Again, we want to make it as easy as possible for anybody who has gotten to the point of saying, yes, I want to try these online workouts. Have your lead catcher form set up everywhere. So where there is a trial attached, or whether it's just the information that you are capturing, make sure that you have that synced with your book now on Facebook, your bio on Instagram, your website. Make sure you have the lead capture form set up. And that's, again, just to make sure that you have as many platforms as possible for your clients to sign up. So as we said, there is the future is going to, that this is going to change the way that the business is run and how the industry works as well. So there will be many studios who are, and we've spoken to them already this week, and they're like, yeah, absolutely, online classes are here to stay. I'm busier than I was before. I'm running more classes than I was before. So we're really excited, and we have no intention of stopping them whenever, let's say, the bans are lifted. So it's not the expectation, and studios aren't, I guess, falling into that where everything's just going to go back to the way it was. This has definitely shaped the way things have or the way things have run in the past and how they will run in the future. So bear that in mind, and hopefully if there's any take-home message to take from it, is that this is something that you should adapt to, that you should opt into, and to not forget about your value of the on how you can still add value to these online workouts.
Yeah, great, Neve. So yeah, like you said, it seems to be the way things are going. We're obviously put under pressure with going on to provide these online workouts. So now it's a case of, now that everyone has managed to come to grapple with it and to provide these online workouts, if it's something that is working for your studio, there is the potential there going forward to keep them running. And not because you have to, but because it seems to be working well for your members, whether it's that it suits their schedule, or if it just is a nice addition to what you're already offering. It is something that's here to stay. So with that, we're coming to the end of this webinar. So if anyone has any ideas, to get thinking and throw them into the questions and answers box. Just to give you an overview of some other support that we have alongside these webinars. So the Glofox knowledge base is continuing to grow, with lots of different resources on how you can continue to provide remote and virtual fitness for your members, and tips on community engagement and membership flexibility, and then other tips and tricks on how you can survive during COVID-19. We also have a great blog with lots of tips and tricks and best practices on how you can implement different things in your studio going forward and what's working for other people at this time. We've also just released our latest podcast with Brittany Welks, and she's talking about how she's moved her total studio online, and with great success, and exactly how she is doing it. So if you haven't listened to the podcast already, I'd really recommend it, and it's available on Spotify and Apple Music as well. So I definitely recommend checking those out.
Great. Yeah, they're definitely the resources that everybody should be kind of checking into. We do have a lot more time on our hands, so if you're struggling to find content to read during your morning coffee, your morning breaks, or anything like that, would 100% recommend tuning into all of those. So Now is kind of really the exciting time where we get to hear your feedback about what we've all just discussed. So I know, Mary, you had a question here, so I'll just read it out for everybody to hear. So you said, I agree, many people have more time, but I know a lot of households have experienced pay cuts, so I don't know how much more money is available to some families. So yeah, I know this is a really sensitive kind of issue, and by no means are we kind of thinking that this is like, oh yeah, everybody has so much money now that you're staying at home. That's definitely not the case. We are super conscious of that, and that's why we kind of touched on those pieces of, checking in with that member. And again, like, I mean, communication is so key these days. So that's, be it through text, be it through call, and you check in with those family members or those families and say, okay, well, listen, what is it that you can afford at the moment, because these are the services that I can offer you, and this is why I think it would be beneficial for you and your family. Like, we have like interesting and healthy, like, let's say, one-to-one talks, and we have, maybe if you know that there's like a group maybe of work, of stay-at-home moms, even though everybody's stay at home now, but if even a group like that, where you have a community where families and parents are all coming together to say, well, this is how I'm struggling, this is how I'm actually doing really well with the kids, and this is what I'm doing with them to keep them entertained. You could provide that kind of platform as well, where you could get a community together to kind of speak about what they're experiencing. So that's something to think about. And you do have, let's say, tiered memberships, or even just, as we said before, it is possible to create just a private membership, and that could be that they maybe pay just £5, $5, €5, whatever it is, a week, anything at all, even just donations like that. That's something that you could talk about.
Definitely.
What do you think, Hannah?
Yeah, definitely, all really good points. And I've also heard of some really great ideas where it's not about bringing down the cost of your membership always, but it may be the case of providing more, as we spoke about, this idea of value. So obviously kids are at home, maybe adding in workouts throughout the day that cater to kids as well. And I guess making the membership that this customer who may be having financial pressure is paying for, make it more valuable to them, so that there's online classes they can do with their kids, rather than paying for them to go swimming and things like that they can do the workouts with you. It's just about rethinking your value proposition and how you can ensure to deliver value to your members in that way. But then, like Niamh spoke about as well, there's the idea of pay what you can afford, tiered pricing, and just finding out what works for your members. Yeah.
Cool. Great. Thank you very much for that, Mary. I hope that was helpful for you. So we have Helene. Hey, Helene, how are you doing? We've had a good few calls together. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. So you were speaking about how to get your lead capture form set up. So yeah, if anybody doesn't have their lead capture form set up or is curious as to what that is, we do have a webinar on what those lead capture forms look like. Caroline and I ran that pre-COVID, but it's all still relevant, I promise. So if you would like to get anything set up, like your lead capture form, if you do have those emails from the web development team, Helene, then yeah, I'd reach out to them directly, as you're kind of going straight to the source, basically, instead of kind of bringing in a support agent or myself. You may as well, if you have their email, go for it. Absolutely email them. If anybody doesn't have their email, then please reach out to support at Glofox, and we'll be sure to direct you to the relevant team, and that's to get your lead capture form set out. So yeah, hope that helps with your question, Helene. Katie, do you want to take this one, Caroline? Or
yeah, would you mind reading out the question?
Oh yeah, beg your pardon, sorry. Excuse me. So thank you for your great presentation. Thank you very much, Katie. We're really glad that you enjoyed it. My question would be, what would you advise to those setting up a client base for the first time in this climate? All my clients are through studios, and those studios are not supplying all yoga teachers with classes to teach due to reductions. So that's a really, really good question, Katie. I guess maybe with the first thing, and then I'll let Caroline kind of jump in if that's all right, probably would be to do as much as you can through Facebook ads, learn as much as you can to try and get content there, or to try and get lead generation there. If it's the case that you have different people to jump in. Let's say, because so many people are running live Instagram videos, why not try and be almost like a co-host on one of those, or even like a co-host on a Zoom, kind of like what Caroline and I are doing. Zoom definitely have tips on how to do that. Try and be that kind of like consultation person, so that you're trying to promote your name as well, and that if give those taster of classes, give those tasters of like what value you can add to that members or to that prospects life at the moment. Definitely try and do that. Those would be my immediate kind of thoughts. What about you, Caroline?
Yeah, I think you touched on some really good points there. So yeah, first, it's really important to leverage social media in as many ways as you can. So I think yoga particularly lends itself to Instagram. Facebook ads are obviously really important as well. And with the Facebook Pixel, you can do targeted ads on both Instagram and Facebook. So we have an article on the Facebook Pixel on our knowledge base, which I'd recommend checking out. Also, obviously, it's a very difficult time to be starting out in a new business, but I guess um, it can also present a few opportunities. So like what Niamh said, community is really coming together at this time, and if you do know other yoga teachers or studios that have a following, and that you could dip in and out here and share your name, share your studio, and do a few collaborative classes and things like that to kind of start developing that member base that you have. Also, some like tips that I've picked up from customers during the week is the importance of touching base with them regularly. So once that you do get speaking to anyone interested in your studio, be sure to capture their email or their number and keep constant communications with them. Let them know that you're running different classes, and let them trial out your online classes as well. And how Niamh touched on earlier on in the presentation as well, putting out those snippets of what your workouts are, or putting out your snippets of your unique selling point in a 30-second clip, and trying to engage the right leads and the right members who will stay with your studio as well for a longer period of time. But it is a difficult time to be operating, definitely. But by leveraging some of those tips, hopefully you can get some leads visiting your studio, and then once they're in the virtual door, then you can have a chance of converting them to being paid members as well.
Super. Yeah, that's great. So I hope that helps Katie with some of your questions. Of course, if there is anybody that that we are answering your questions and you feel like you'd like to touch a little bit more on, of course, Caroline and myself are here to have those kind of consultative conversations with you all. And we're super passionate about this. This is why we do the webinars. We want to hear more from you. We want to kind of see what's working, what's not, and what more kind of detailed information that we can provide to assist you. So this is all really, really valuable content. So if you think that we should get into contact with you a little bit more, please do reach out to support@glofox.com, and we'll get a call to that up. There's two more questions here, so I'll touch on them as well if everybody's okay to still hang on. I think it will be valuable to kind of hear some of the answers that we do provide, just in case it's relevant to you. So Teresa, thank you very much for giving us that question and for joining and for sticking with us so far. We really appreciate it. So your question is that you own an aerial yoga studio, What are your suggestions for online engagement? So yeah, I guess this is kind of coming down to, trying to adapt and be creative as you can. So many studios, like you need more than just like a mat, you know what I mean? Like, your entire business model is, aerial yoga. So that's definitely not something that everyone's going to have in their own household. So I guess from that perspective, I would bring it back to kind of, I guess, what key reasons, or even like what is it that you're trying to achieve with aerial yoga, and how other like different ways that you can do that with regular yoga, or are there any alternatives, or obviously you want to make sure that everyone is safe and healthy, and you don't want people trying to do their own aerial yoga classes for like insurance purposes. But I would recommend try and adopt some of the of the moves and the structure and the flow of your classes, and trying to embody them into like something that can be achieved at home. So that would be trying to do different ways to do the poses that may still get the same effect that you would get from an aerial yoga pose, if that makes any sense. Caroline, what do you think about that?
Yeah, just a customer that I was speaking with during the week came to mind as well. Not aerial yoga, but it was reformer Pilates was the core thing that they offered. So what we spoke about there was how you can offer complementary practices. So this may be the likes of mobility. Obviously, if you're doing aerial yoga, you're going to be have a certain degree of flexibility, a certain degree of movement that you want to keep and you want to preserve. So when it does go back to the time where you can practice aerial yoga again, you don't want to have lost this like your suppleness or this flexibility that you have. So it was looking at how you could take these practices onto the mat, which most people will have at home, or else onto a softer floor, the carpet or whatever like that. Another great idea I heard was running talks. So it could be like more theory based. So obviously you're like a well practiced aerial yoga teacher and you have this in your skill set. So to bring it back to maybe theory at this time, run a couple of theory classes during the week and help them develop, I guess, their knowledge of certain poses. It could be the science behind it or the physiology behind these practices that could help your members to continue developing their aerial yoga expertise, but I guess in a different way with regard to mindset and things like that. But yeah, like I guess with the reformer situation as well, it was like looking at how you can replicate those movements but on the mat. So hopefully those ideas will help you a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. Even something that we also kind of touched on this week, Caroline, whenever we were speaking to customers, was that if you are like running any of these classes in a group setting, for example, and you want to make sure that everyone is running them kind of correctly, just to have somebody else from your team on the Zoom link, just to make sure that they're kind of almost like a fly in the wall spot checking to make sure that everybody is doing the pose correctly as well, should it be the case that the trainer can't keep an eye on that. So that's just kind of like a top tip as well that we have learned that might be helpful for people on this webinar to know. So yeah, I hope that helps Therese on how to kind of conduct engagement. So we have a final kind of question here, and it's from Gareth, and it was just about like your frozen memberships, and that you have created, you've paused all of the active memberships at the moment, but have since created a new membership that allows cookbooks and online programs, and whether you have equipment or body weight. So that's a really, really effective way of doing it. So that's class to hear. But you're saying like how to now juggle the paused membership and then the new kind of, I guess, COVID membership. So as you know, or maybe you may not know, but on Glofox you can only have one active subscription at one time. You can have multiple credit packs on your profile, but you can only have one active membership on your profile, or on your members profile. So in that case, what I would probably recommend is, I mean, you can run a report on all active members at the moment, for example, or have a look at that everybody that's on pause. Like you have that client filter now that does like memberships that are on pause. So you can download that report and you can safeguard that as a report as of like the 2nd of April, for example. And that way then you can see, okay, these are all of the clients that we put on pause, that this was their membership, pre-COVID, and then, cancel all of their memberships and then set them up for anybody who has requested the COVID membership to put them onto that new one then. So it would be the case, it would be a bit of a manual process, but definitely the client filter should help you out big time here to kind of keep track and keep record of who was on what, basically, before you added that £15 membership on their profile. So great concept. Great to hear that you're kind of going through that like an innovative process of still charging clients, even if it is maybe a little bit probably more discounted than your usual price, but you're still running memberships and you're still keeping that revenue in. So I'm really glad to hear that you're following through with that, Gareth, and hopefully that has helped you a little bit. Again, if not, and if you haven't gotten a response that you're kind of satisfied with, please reach out to support@glofox.com. So we got 2 thank you notes there from Helene and Teresa, and that those responses
Great.
were helpful. So I'm glad that you found that useful, guys. I can't see any other questions that are coming in. But again, Caroline and I definitely aren't going anywhere anytime soon. We definitely have a lot more time in our hands than we usually have. So please keep those comments coming into our support channel. And as we said before, if the few of you have commented that that you really enjoyed this webinar and that you would like to just kind of thank us, so thank you first of all for joining. But we would, what would really be we would be really grateful of is if you could leave like your positive sentiment on this review site here. G2 Crowd is what it's called, and we'll be sharing it in the webinar link after this as well, just in case you don't have time to jot that down. But yeah, we'd really appreciate a positive review on that if you can.
Yeah, so thank you everyone who tuned in this week, and we hope you found it beneficial and valuable. Obviously we're doing these webinars for your benefit, and we want to see everyone, like we've heard today, think of innovative ideas and really succeeding and thriving with us. So if there are any topics that you think of that would be suitable for a webinar, or that you'd even just like more clarity on or a demo on, please don't hesitate to reach out to support@glofox.com, and we will then, once we see that you have a request for a webinar, we'll make it certain that we'll cover it as soon as possible. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I think we could have gotten another. Did we get any more questions?
I think they're just kind of saying that they have to jump off at
Okay, that's fair enough.
So yeah, that's all good. We kind of kept you longer than we would have liked to, so we're really sorry. But hopefully it still was all content that you found useful.
Thanks a million, and
Thanks a million,
have a good week.
Yeah, take care and stay safe.
Bye bye.
Bye.